G'day, hi and welcome. Okay, so you're lost in the bush, the plane's flying overhead, and you got to get rescued. Light one of these bastards on fire. There you go. I wouldn't do it in the summertime, though. You burn down the entire bush. But okay, so what can we do with a birch tree? What can't we do with a birch tree is probably another thing. One of the first things you do with a birch tree is look up, because you see how those branches are hanging there? I don't know if my camera's picking it up. But anyway, very dangerous tree to be underneath. But you can get a lot of stuff off of a birch tree. A younger birch tree, you could skin this, make a birch bark canoe out of a birch tree. But you need a good quality. Obviously, you can get kindling paper on it. That stuff will burn very good. You could take the bark itself, put it in a can, seal it, right, and put it in a fire and create oil, like a lamp oil with it. You can use that for many different things. You can, you know, I'll do some at a later date, and you'll get an idea. But yeah, you can basically get like a tar out of the tree. So what a lot of the natives and stuff like that used to do with their birch bark canoes was they would take this tar to seal it. They would do this, pioneers would do this with dugout canoes, where, you know, you'd hollow out your dugout canoe, it would float, but the water would still leak and you'd have a wet butt. So what they would do is on the inside, they burn the inside of the dugout canoe, and then they would line it with this tar, which I'm sure took forever to dry and was messy as shit, but it did the job, right? But it was a lot of work to do it. Like, you had to get a lot of birch bark to do it. I built a birch bark canoe, or helped build a 23-foot birch bark canoe when I was a teenager. And it was an interesting sewing it all together with the sinew, with the moose wood. That no, not that one. It's not that one. That one. Is it that one? No. Anyway, it's a wood that's really rough, and you could almost use it like a shoelace. I thought that was it. They usually don't grow much bigger than that. We call it moose wood. Moose wood. But yeah, the birch tree is very, very useful. You get certain amount of the birch bark. If it's strong enough, you can make a cone with it to funnel water. You could do all kinds of stuff with it. So this is definitely a tree you want to study on and learn as much as you can about it, because it could save your life. If you were lost in the bush, you've got yourself enough to basically, you know, get the fire going, dry things out, and then, you know, you can get a good fire going. So it's a good way. And the other thing too is, if you get enough birch bark in slabs, you can actually create a shelter top, and, you know, like shingles, so that the rain just washes, you know, runs off of it. I mean, it'd be time consuming, but if you were a lost, whatever, you could do that. And then out of all these trees, one in about every 10,000 birch trees is going to be worth a shitload of money. Why? Because chaga grows typically on birch trees. A white birch, yellow birch, that kind of stuff. Whatever kind of birch species you have in your area. The chaga is basically a parasite. When the tree starts to die, the chaga starts to grow, and you can harvest it right down to about an inch of the chaga, and then you walk away, and eventually that chaga will still keep growing. But once you see, don't worry about killing the tree, because once you see chaga on the tree's already dying. So, but about one in every 10,000 birch will have this. My uncle got some there, and my dad and him grinded some up the other night there. Took the two of them, they were sitting there with the drill, and my aunt, she has like extremely bad arthritis throughout her body. She always has, right? And the chaga tea really helps her. So I'm not saying it'll help everybody, but chaga is like a super everything. It's like the super everything. But be careful if you're looking for chaga, because in the past I've made videos thinking I got chaga and I didn't, and I pulled those videos down, because if you don't have the right thing in your hand, you could be poisoning yourself. So some of these big tree mushrooms, things, whenever I get some there, I'll wait more till the spring to do that, because I could show you how you can use those things. You can dry them out and use them for kindling and all kinds of stuff. You can get oil out of them. Again, a hell of a resource is the birch tree. So lots you can research on there. The more you know, the less you need. And yeah, there we go.